Hello everyone, nice to speak to you via this medium. It does seem like you're shouting down a tunnel. Not sure if anybody's listening, but I hope it's okay for you at the other end. At the end of this presentation deck, there are lots of charts on how to do the very things that I'm going to be talking about, but I'm not going to go through those today as we speak. But they will be available to you on the website later on, so you can follow those yourself if you need any guidance on how to set up your Connect or profile information. Okay, I'm talking about using Connect and your ICG profile to help your business. Some of you may have seen this presentation before, but it's always worth going through these things. So without further ado, I shall try to hit too many buttons there, sorry. Back to the chart I needed. So what we're about with the Connect service on the website, as Liz alluded to earlier, is connecting people. So we're connecting people looking for someone like you with your message to them. And we've got around 400 ICG members, and they're all primarily research suppliers, consultants, or support service providers. And the ICG website is very much our shopfront, and the Connect page is the most heavily visited area within that shopfront. So it's much more than just a directory. I'd like people to think of it more of as our collective image, as well as an area where you can put forward your individual image. Right, sure. Okay, so to anyone looking in at the 400 of us, we might all look quite the same as these penguins do here. So we've probably got 15 or 20 years experience in the business. We'll be qual and or quant researchers, and pretty much willing and able to do most things that research buyers might want us to, or help with most research issues. So the key thing is to allow the users of the Connect system to find you. So we hope that by doing that, just waiting for the system to change chart. Yes, by doing that, you can use Connect to help clients and fellow members find you. And that idea of fellow members finding you is almost equally as important as external clients, because more and more these days we're working together and generating revenue from each other's businesses. So it's important for them to be able to find you as well. And so you're using the Connect to help people to find you, and then you're using your profile to get your message over to them. And your message is really what you want to say about yourself, and I think it's worth thinking about that when you're using our system, because as we all look the same pretty much from the outside, the profile information allows you to differentiate yourself, but also collectively we can demonstrate the depth and the breadth of experience and expertise that's within the ICG. So when people come through the Connect system, they can see that there's lots of people that might be able to help them, and there's lots of people with different approaches and different ideas and new ways of thinking. If we walk a mile in a client's shoes, for instance, just try using the Connect service yourself to find someone or to help with a particular type of project. Take any project you like and go into the system and try and use it yourself. We could just supply people with a list of all members. Is that helpful? Not very much, no. It's 400 of us. However you list that, it will be an overwhelming visual spectacle and not very useful for people. So if we had a long alphabetical list, for instance, of members who worked on a particular type of research at some point in their careers, is that helpful? Well, again, I mean, it's slightly better than a full list, but it will have limited use to people and is more likely to put them off than bring them through the process. So is a shorter list of members who specialise in this type of research helpful? Well, yes, we're getting towards where that will help a client find who they're looking for. But the best thing that we think we can aim for is a short list of members who specialise in the type of research that they're looking for, ranked in order of how specialist they are. So people who only do that sort of research would come out at the top of the list. So that's what Connect aims to do. It's a pragmatic tool. It's not perfect. We have lots of limitations in terms of how much money we can spend on it. But it does provide a short list of members who specialise in types of research, ranked in order of how specialist they are. It's based on questions and filters and sorts the lists using algorithms. And it's not the only way of finding members. So you can do a free text search, which Liz mentioned, and that's particularly important when thinking about your profile information. And you can, if you need, have to get an A to Z listing. So if you're just looking for somebody whose name you know, then you can find it in that A to Z listing as well. Okay, some tips. First of all, if you don't complete your Connect information, you're never ever going to turn up on a Connect search. And there's around 25% of us who are not completed in terms of their Connect profile. Now, some of those may be people who don't particularly want to generate new business, but if you do want new business, you're cutting yourself out of that loop. So your name will never appear on that, and you look to the outside world as if you don't need the work or you'd like them to choose someone else. If you don't fill in your profile information, you lose the opportunity to differentiate yourself from the other people listed and within a free text search. And more importantly, from my point of view, collectively, it looks bad as well. If people arrive at this sort of page where there's nothing on it except a few contact details. So let's have a look at putting a logo on there. Let's have a look at putting a photo on there. What do I look like? Make me into a real person. Let's have some information about why to contact me, what I do, what I offer, what am I like, you know, a little bit of personality, a summary of my CV or credentials, and why I'm different, and most importantly, the keywords for the free text searches. So we can't do everything on the Connect system using lists and filters to get you to the right people, but free text can include some of the buzzwords around the industry that might not be on those lists. And where else can I find information about you? Have I got a website? Am I LinkedIn? Am I on Facebook? Etc., etc. If we look at my page, apologies for my mug coming out of the screen at you there, but I am a real person. And you can contact me in these various ways, and you can find out more about me on LinkedIn. I'm not particularly active on social media, but LinkedIn is something that would enhance their picture of me if they want to have a look. Under the services and speciality listings that I've got here on my profile page, it just says what I've done, what I do, why I'm a little bit different, how I work, and particularly those keywords. Again, because I specialize in quite a lot of personal finance and government research, I've put those in as headers and a few bullet points as well, with the various sectors that I might be chosen as a specialist in. Okay, it's easy to complete, and these are what are the charts at the end of this presentation, which will be on the site shortly, take you through. It's a step-by-step and simple process to follow. You just select your specialisms and skills from the lists available. And if you do have a particular problem or there's something missing in those lists, we do update them every now and again, then just email me at midgec@msn.com and I will try and introduce those into the lists in our next upgrade. But the main message I want to get across here is concentrate on what you do regularly, what you are actually expert in. For the weighted questions, which again this is explained in the later charts, just choose a few specialisms in their order of importance and resist selecting everything. If you select everything, you're likely to end up at the lower end of the lists that come up on screen, so you won't be on the first page, for instance. The less you choose, the higher up the selection lists you'll appear. So it's worth bearing in mind. Don't try to be everything to everybody. Try to be a specialist in something, and you will appear higher up those lists. And if you can't think of what to put in your profile, then just have a look around at what other people have done. There's loads of different ideas. My way of doing it is fairly straightforward, but other people are more expressive, more individual. And just explain what you do and make yourself real with a photo or a logo, and reassure with a few credentials, possibly client testimonials, and tell people what's different about you. It really is as easy as that. So finally, Connect is our collective shop window. It looks very bad if it's bare, so the 25% of you who are not who've not filled in their Connect information, if you want new business, then please do that as quickly as possible. If you haven't filled in your profile information or it's very rudimentary, then I would suggest upgrading that as far as possible. Make it personal to you, make it interesting to somebody who's looking in at it, because it looks very bad if there's nothing there once you're inside the process. Just think of your own use perhaps of Google. If you go through a whole search process and you click on one of the pages and you arrive there and it's blank or it's out of date, you know how that feels. So we don't want that to be the end result of people using the Connect service on our site. So complete your Connect information and fill in your profile now, otherwise we'll send the boys round. Okay, thanks very much for listening. I should be having a final slide here. Oh, we're going to get there, I think. Yes, okay. Thanks for listening. The ICG focuses a lot of its marketing and PR efforts on getting clients to use the Connect service. So it's one of the best ways we can demonstrate the wealth and range of expertise available within the group. So complete your Connect selections, fill in all your profile information and make the ICG look good, and make sure that you're seen. Okay, thank you very much.